Master Naima here, taking unclaimed masters into the marketplace powerfully and profitably. Welcome to the top of the week and happy holidays, literally one of my most favorite times of the year. So today's topic, which is so important, if I'm here, it's important, is clarifying and communicating your original body of work, your genius, or your unique gifts. Nuance is at top billing today. Nuance and specificity. The fine distinction between masters and everybody else is specificity and nuance. That is the highlight of what's being discussed today. So before I go any further, the master tribe, the newly forming master tribe community. There's a link with this video. If what you hear here and what you see on this page is you're going to, Lord knows, I'll say this, become more of who you really are, have more of what you're meant to be more, do more of what you're really meant to have, do, and be, will be your reality when you come inside the Master Tribe community. So the link with this video is the link that you click to come into that group. I want you to also know that just because you request to join does not mean you'll be joined. Now, this is not to play the game of elitism, although if it's true, it's true. It's important that truly unclaimed masters are in this group. This, and it's a family, right? It's inside of the structure of a Facebook community group, but it's a family. And it's important to me to know who's in this group, not just be like, approve. It's personally important for me to know who's in this community, what your original body of work is, what your genius is, what your gift is. And so when you request to join, you'll be contacted by me inside of your Facebook inbox, inquiring to know more about, are you aware of what your original body of work is, your genius is, your unique gift, skill, or ability. So just know that. And that experience alone will prime you, ready you. Any kind of engagement with the Master Tribe community, any kind of engagement with me, if you truly are an unclaimed master, will enhance you. And if you're not, you'll easily, first of all, it's unlikely that you'll move forward. But then also, it's like an easy no, right? Like if this isn't it's an easy no. That's what I just love about this distinction and this nuance and the specificity. So I'm talking here today about, first of all, why the nuance, it matters. And before I go any further, I want to say this to really liberate myself from all the transmitting that is going to happen here, which by default liberates you as well, to really be with this. Nuance for me, the ability to speak in a nuanced way. And for you, very likely, if you're an unclaimed master, the ability to write in a nuanced way. The way that will strike your people, right? Your right people, because there's a bunch of people looking at your material, but what about the people who you are specifically meant to reach? The way to write and the reason why the nuance, what I was getting ready to say was, that nuance for me typically doesn't happen until I start speaking, until I start writing. But the speaking and the writing is a reflection of the depth that I cultivate behind closed doors. It's a reflection of the work that I'm doing, of the intimacy that I'm building, the truth that I'm building behind closed doors. Know that this is not about just plain old visibility. Increase your visibility. It's not about just more content creation, more marketing, no. Now that could be an effect, is certainly not the cause. The cause is what's happening when all the lights are off, when nobody's watching, when it's just you and you. Is really cultivating this power, learning, engaging in whatever is required on your unique path, because I don't tell you what to do. Like, the information is there. You're constantly getting the feedback of where you are avoiding, lying, trying to sidestep, reduce, getting the feedback, being honest about that feedback. This is where great mentorship really starts to make a difference. Because you and I'm a master, you're likely an unclaimed master, have been trained to disrespect and ignore nuance and specificity. And that's why so many of us have struggled for so freaking long unnecessarily. It's because for everybody else, I know this may seem unfair and trigger some resentment, but your maturity will come when you just really learn to swallow this and look at it from a higher perspective. Other leaders and entrepreneurs whose wiring allows them to, let's say, half-ass it, whose wiring allows them to get away with seemingly innocent white lies, whose wiring allows them to only play at half function, can get away with it, they win, and you looking at them from the outside could easily think, especially if your brain has not been trained to look at things correctly, can think, well, gosh, look at her. She is like doing freaking 7 figures, or she's traveling, she's having all this, and you can see that she's not at full throttle and power, because as an unclaimed, like, you have skill, you can see things. Even if you haven't walked through the door of master, you can see things, and you'll be like, how can she do that? Like, how can she create like that? How can she magnetize like that? How can she have that? How can she live that? And she's not even in full power. Like, you can see where she's faking, and you can see where she's like, gosh, like, you can see straight through her. And you're like, fuck, how, why can't I do that? Why can't I just take who I am right now when I know I'm not, not unleashing, living in the fullness, the itness, right? It's because his wiring is distinctly different, and your wiring demands that you operate in the nuance and the specificity, that you respect the nuance and the specificity. And when you speak in that way, because you are already doing the work behind the scenes, which is what we'll be doing inside of Roundtable 2020, which is why you need to be inside of the group, where you click the link with this video, and if you're a yes, you will be ushered into the group, is because your wiring, your people only respond, you only win. That flow you're looking for, that kind of like that go that you're looking for, that like spiritual go, that yesness that you're looking for, that kind of like being held by the universe and moved forward and ushered forward, happens for you when you play in the nuance and the specificity. This is good news, darling. This is very good news. This is where your power is. This is what causes the great divide between the 5 billion other shamans, healers, oracles, coaches, high-level spiritual teachers, leaders, blah, 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 and you and other unclaimed masters. So what's going to be really important for you to do, first of all, come inside of the family, the Master Tribe family. Click the link with this video, come inside. No matter how you feel, no matter how, insufficient you may, like no matter how, if you know that you are an unclaimed master based on what you've been seeing on this page, if you know you have an original body of work that either you've crafted on your path thus far, or you just know, and you have the audacity to on some level claim that knowing, or you have a genius, that you know is meant to be brought out into the marketplace, or you have very specific and nuanced skills and abilities, whether that's your ability to see what others cannot see, your ability to hear what others cannot hear, some other esoteric or easily discountable ability, and it's easily discountable to others. But to your people, they hold it in very high regard, and they're waiting for you to respect its nuance and specificity, own it, then get very, turn up the volume on your marketing and your visibility. Only then, you catch that? Did you catch that? You come inside the group to start to cultivate this skill. You become more intimate with fellow unclaimed masters. You decide to walk through the door of master. You decide to submit to its power. And then what is unleashed within you as a result of you walking through that door? That is what Roundtable 2020 is doing for you with your cooperation. There's no force, there's no cajoling, there's no coddling, there's no, because you already got it. Unclaimed masters are born. You just got to walk through the door. So the reason why the nuance is so important, the specificity is so important, is because it's the only way your people will hear you. And that's even further along. First of all, it's where your power is and your bigger money is. Money is easy to make. You want to go, 5,000, this other coach calls it baby money, and I love it. I love baby money. Go for it. Masters are meant to be paid handsomely for their original body of work. This is not my opinion. This is rule. This is law. It's meant to transform some paradigm, some consciousness, some way of being for the greater world. So there's an onion, and you are the inside of the onion, and your work affects the next outer layer, which then affects the next outer layer, which then affects the next outer layer, and on and on and on out to the masses. You got to swallow that. You got to know that. And submitting to this door of master, which is agreeing to respect the nuance and specificity of who you are, of the words and ways of your original body of work, which is inside of you already. You already have this. It's about being in relationship with it, and Roundtable 2020 is the incubation space for you to be in relationship with it. The Master Tribe family is the space for you to develop intimacy with it and be supported as you walk through the door of master, and not have to go on the lone savage voyage that I have gone on very proudly as well. Because not all of us are meant to walk that lone path. I'm master of masters. And it's not because I need that to feel significant or, it's what it is. The evidence speaks for itself. So the nuance and the specificity is where your big power and your bigger money lies. You must submit to it, be happy that it is so, embrace it as so. Come into Roundtable 2020 where you will walk through the door of master. This is glorious, darling. This is glorious. This is your distinction, your fine distinction. And that's what I am here for. That's what Roundtable 2020 is here for. That's what the Master Tribe family is here for. And so about the money part, which is so important, I imagine you have a very big dream. And say hi to me if you're there. I see people coming and going. Say hi to me. Start to make your presence felt. All right, make your way over, click the link with this video and make your way over into the Master Tribe family. The distinction of you take that. The distinction of your original body of work, of your genius, the distinction between all the generalists and the distinction of what it is that you already have is what by default makes it extremely valuable. By default makes it highly worthy. You have to separate this you that most of us are attached to, like yourself, like your this idea you have about yourself and who you are, and the distinct body of work that is in you. You have to tease out the distinction. The thing that you have, okay, by default, only you have it. Clarifying it, this is what Roundtable 20 helps you do. So you could, somebody said, you go to a coffee shop and somebody's like, what do you do? Anybody, what do you do? You by yourself, what do you do? So I want you to take that from this video is to go write it down and say it out loud. You can even put it in the comments here. You could even bring it to the Master Tribe and post it there. To clarify the distinction, that's the theme for this week. Clarifying, then communicating that distinction. To be able to do that, backed by power, okay? Power in the way you speak, the power and the specificity of it, the nuance of it, where every single word has impact. That you're even able to access the word that is already infused in your original body of work because you have submitted to its power. You have submitted to its significance. Then bringing that out. So all that happens behind the scenes, right? As much as you can. Then you bring it out so that it sees light. And you speak it. You write it. Okay? That by default commands big money. Now, you can fuck it up. That's what's coming to mind by having drama around, oh, who am I? Like, that's the identity self that I mentioned a moment ago. Myself, like this self idea, which Roundtable 2020 will aggressively and powerfully clean up and get into order with the work that we'll be doing in there. So that you come into clarity with yourself, like this construct that you use to, order your food and do your grocery shopping and walk around and, right? The clarity of that and the clarity of this work that you are in possession of. This original body of work, this genius, this unique skill, or maybe it's plural, unique skills and abilities. By default, commands big money. So having that and then getting your mind, your money mind, your wealth consciousness in order. Listen, this is how 5-figure clients becomes easy. Like normal, where you don't even feel right charging, I don't know, $500. I'm just making that number up. But when you get into this that I'm talking about and you do this work that I'm talking about, you come join us inside Roundtable 2020. It happens almost on its own. There's a swelling that happens inside of you that just naturally starts to get and place the appropriate price tag on it. And the appropriate tag could be $7,000 for you. It could be $70,000. It's true, and it happens on its own when you do this work and come into clarity about the distinction of you and the distinction of the work that you have that's meant to be brought to your unique people. So your job then, one, like I said, go sit down or stand. Write down what your original body of work is, your distinct gifts. And here's, this is where the self starts to write. The comparison starts to happen. It's tired, darling. Put it down. Put that down. Just put that down. Just. And recognize that it's been there all along. You know this. It's been there all along. And just tell yourself, okay, anything that, starts to corrupt and you feel it, just say, I put you down. I put you down. What is the thing that I know that I have? Even if you haven't monetized it yet, or even if you are, but you know it should be more, charge more. The value is higher. What is it? Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. Then say it out loud. How does it feel to say it out loud? Does it feel true? Is it true? Bring it, click the link with this video, come into the Master Tribe community, write it there. Let it see light. Let yourself feel what it feels like to say it. And its untrueness will ricochet back to you. Anything in it that's untrue will ricochet back to you, and you'll clean it up. You're immensely powerful. Let it be so. Let it be so. Let it be so. Okay, you do that. And you get down into its nuance. How do you do that? What about this? You talking to yourself. Look at that sun, yes. What about this is distinct? You start to get intimate with it. What is distinct about this? As you start to get into intimacy with it, it starts to reveal itself to you. But you gotta care. You gotta really care. You gotta be really serious about playing bigger. You gotta really be serious about coming into Roundtable 2020, learning how to command, being visible, doing the work behind the scenes when nobody is working, cleaning up your body, cleaning up your mind, developing intimacy with your higher self. This is a high spiritual game. This is a high spiritual order. There's no room for ego, even though ego is there. There's no room for lack of clarity. There's no room for anything of a low gradient, even though it's there. Let it be. Let your power be. It is already there. All the corruption will be handled inside Roundtable 2020. All the lies in your blind spots. Because not taking your place as master when you are one is living a lie. Not taking your place as master when you are one is living a lie. So cleaning up that kind of a lie, cleaning up all the other blind spots, lies that are in your blind spots, will be cleaned up in Roundtable 2020. And I'll say very quickly about Roundtable 2020. It's a 6-month reinvention immersion for unclaimed masters to walk through the door of master and learn the skills, cultivate the power, and develop the business acumen where they then come out into the marketplace and monetize their original body of work, their genius, and their skills powerfully and highly profitably. That's what Roundtable 2020 is about, and you will be required to immerse in France for the month of May in 2020. When you come inside of the Master Tribe community, we'll be talking more about that. Happy to answer your questions about that. You can even inbox me here on this page and ask questions. And I'll close with this in repeating this path of master, of showing up in the marketplace powerfully, highly profitably, is a very tall order. It is a very tall order. Know that you are wired for this tall order. Your job is to construct a new world. Literally, that is why you exist. So there's no need to wonder, do you have what it takes? Who are you? You were born as such. You are literally wired to construct a new world, to speak words and to orchestrate words and bring them to the world in a way they have never heard them. So that your right people, when they hear you, they know it is so. They know it is true, and they lean into you. Even if it takes them a while to find the courage and the willingness and the time to lean into you. So coming into the Master Tribe community is a big step for you. It will, by default and naturally, taking that step and coming in will lift you, will start to organize your thoughts and bring you into greater intimacy with the unique body of work that you are meant to bring into the world, make that impact, and highly profit from. So I look forward to those of you who take that step and even further come into Roundtable 2020, where I look forward to seeing you in the flesh in France in May 2020. Come on.